Hello again, everybody. We're here to talk about something interesting. Today is, I always like to put the date on these things. Today is February the 18th, and we're talking about some conditions that might happen on Wednesday. Tom, I've got a question for you. What are records made for?
To be broken, to be shattered.
Right. Could you have a better setup line than that?
That's right. And I get kind of a kick out of it because those on the Minnesota Forecaster webpage, there were doubters, right? There were several of them, Bill, that were doubting that we could break the record, or at least they said we'd come close or barely break it. I mean, I think we're just going to blow it out of the water. So, and what I mean by that is,
still hasn't happened yet, Tom.
It still hasn't happened. But I mean, if we don't break this by 4, 5, 6 inches, if not more, I mean, I'll be shocked. And we'll probably do that by Wednesday night. So we'll see.
Well, I got a bunch of questions. Should we just start with those?
Sure. Let's get into it.
As you like. Yeah, I got an amazing response of questions here. So I'm just going to roll through. So starting with the blog, first person says, a little less than a week ago, forecasters were saying that the second half of February would be dry. Now we have snow chances 6 out of the next 10 days. Why were the models last week so wrong?
I love forecasters, right? Who is that? Okay. First off,
presumably forecasters are all looking at the same models. So the question really is, how are the models, right?
No. Forecasters are looking at different stuff. And that's one of the problems here is that who's the forecasters? I like to consider that to be they, right? Because you always hear that that's what they said. Well, we don't know who they is. I can tell you this. I had looked at the models last week, which I think we had our last video, Bill. This southwest flow from the desert southwest and moisture coming up out of the Gulf and hitting the cold dome of air that's over us, that was going to be in place for the next couple of weeks. So I don't know who said that. Whoever did say that was wrong. I hope it wasn't me. I don't ever recall saying that. So I think that's false information. I'm sure there were some people that were saying that, some forecasters. But if they were, they were mistaken. And you know what? Just go to your source that you trust the most. That's what I would tell them to do.
All right. Next question is, it seems like these storms lately are hard to predict amounts, and they bounce around depending on the meteorologist, and the forecast discussion. It seems harder to nail down these storms for the amounts than in the past years. Any reason for this? I'm going to guess that you probably don't agree with that. And again, come back to who's the source. Is that right?
That's right. Yes, depending on who's reading the guidance, you're going to get different spins on whatever guidance you're looking at. So there will be bouncing around, right? Yeah. I'm going to tell you this. I feel that model guidance in general has been fantastic. Some of the best guidance I've seen in years has been given to us this season. Hence, that's the reason why I feel that our predictions have been so solid for this snow season. So yeah, I disagree with that. Again, I'm not saying that other forecasters haven't said a lot of other things and have bounced around. What I'm telling you is that I think our stuff has been very solid, and I don't think we've bounced around that much, Bill.
Okay. Next question. Somebody's asking about what's coming this weekend. Why don't we hold that one? All these questions are probably going to fall into the same kind of response, but somebody says, reading the National Weather Service discussion, they seem conflicted on amounts of snow that Minneapolis-St. Paul will receive because of the varying model solution. It seems like anywhere from 2 to 7. So what is your model of choice? What's your weather model of choice?
The Euro model, of course, we always talk about that, Bill. I put a lot of faith into that, especially in the medium range, which would be a 3 to 7 day type forecast. When you start getting into shorter range forecasts, I still look at the Euro guidance because it's so consistent. But then I also start to latch on to the NAM computer model guidance. That would probably be my favorite, or the NAM Nest. So, and as far as the National Weather Service, I think they've been pretty consistent with what they've been forecasting here today. I don't see a 2 to 7 inches. I think they're pretty much going with a 4 to 8 inch snowfall, and I think that's been pretty consistent, and their message has been consistent. So I'm going to disagree with that question.
Yeah, they've actually been. I was just having this conversation on the side with actually Facebook and Twitter with the National Weather Service, because in their probabilistic forecasting, they have Minneapolis as I think it's a 37% chance of greater than 6 inches, yet they have Mankato only as 34%, yet Mankato is under a winter storm watch, and Minneapolis, St. Paul is not. So I think none of this is black and white. And the way that
none of it's black and white. And you're assuming that they are looking at those percentages, which is just another piece of data that's out there, right?
Right, and that's the result of a bunch of sources, they say.
Right, and that evening forecast, or the forecaster in the afternoon that put out the 4 p.m. forecast, which was for this evening and thereon, it could be that that person did not take into account, or did just put more emphasis on upping those percentages on his or her own. And that's why they came up with those watches.
The human element.
Yes, yes.
All right, let's see, Twitter now. A lot of these, again, these fall into the same categories. Someone says, regarding the National Weather Service discussion about the evolution of the storm, they show the main driver, that the Euro is west while the GFS is east. Also, why do you think the National Weather Service may have sided with the GFS solution in their initial watch area?
Yeah, can't speak for them on that. But what I can tell you is why the Euro is a little bit further west, and this might be a good time, Bill, to look at the model guidance. All right. So,
boy, that yellow is really pretty.
Yes, yes. What you should be seeing, and I think everybody can see it, Bill, and you might want to, I'm not sure if our graphic is blown up on screen or not, Bill. Can you see it?
It looks good to me.
Does it? Okay, great. Well, what you're seeing here, this is what we call a water vapor imagery, okay? And this orange area down here is dry air. And let's get our bearings straight here. This is the Baja of California down here. Here's Southern California in the San Diego area. And then here's Arizona, Phoenix. And you can see this dry air is starting to surge a little bit north and east towards the Central Plains, and then eventually going to continue northeast to the Great Lakes. This dry air, Bill, is going to be key to where the heavy band of snow sets up, because usually in winter storm situations, heavy snow or the heavy snow band sets up along or just to the north and west of a dry punch. Okay, so you got me on that?
Yep.
Now, here is the European computer model guidance for winds at 500 millibars. Okay, this is at about, let's say, 15 to 20,000 feet in our atmosphere. Okay, what it is showing is that by Wednesday afternoon, there is a strong, what we call a jet core or jet streak, or just strong winds extending from Oklahoma northeast to Chicago. Okay, let's draw that on here again. Here it is, extending northeast. That is a dry punch. Okay, there will be dry air from the desert southwest that is going to surge rapidly northeast on Wednesday from Oklahoma up to Chicago. Now, where are we located? Here
to the northwest side.
Yes, here is northwestern Iowa, southern Minnesota, and then about the northwestern half of Wisconsin. We are just on the north or west flank of that dry punch. Hence the reason why, and here's Wednesday evening, hence the reason why the European guidance is showing heavy snow over northwestern Iowa, basically almost all of southern and eastern Minnesota, and northwestern Wisconsin. In fact, let's put the humidity. This will be interesting, and this is what I mean by dry punch. This white area, Bill, this is moisture in our atmosphere at 500 millibars. This grayish, brownish area, that is dry air. And now let's just go back to Wednesday afternoon. Look at where that dry punch is located. It is right here from about Kansas City to Madison, and then continuing northeast to Green Bay. And again, we are just on the north and west flank of that dry punch. So we are in a favorable position for heavy, heavy snows. And I think that's going to happen. And in fact, let's just go ahead and put the total snow from the European computer model guidance on there and look exactly where it's got that heaviest snow is located, where we had depicted it with our circle. And that would be from Omaha, northeast, right through the Twin Cities, then continuing to Duluth. And
and Tom, that again is different than where the National Weather Service has laid out their winter storm watch. So they clearly are not putting as much stock into the European as they could.
Well, not right now. But let me assure you, I don't want to speak for the National Weather Service, but I get a funny feeling that by midnight tonight or first thing tomorrow morning, pretty much all of southern and eastern Minnesota is going to be in a winter storm watch. So we'll see. They often will add counties. And they don't want to, broad brush everything right off the bat. They're going with where they're most confident right now, and their highest confidence is from about Minneapolis southeast to Rochester. Hence, that's why there's a winter storm watch there. But I can tell you, if I were to go around the National Weather Service right now in the Twin Cities and ask all the forecasters, do they think there's going to be heavy snow west of the Twin Cities? I'll bet you the majority of them will say yes. So just hang in there. The National Weather Service will come around, and you'll get winter storm watches for pretty much everybody in southern and eastern Minnesota and northwestern Wisconsin. By the way, I know one of the questions Bill had asked about this weekend, and I'll quickly just touch bases on that. Okay. This is, by the way, the 850 millibar temperatures. So these are the temperatures in the lower layers of our atmosphere. This is for Wednesday afternoon. You can see we're well below 0 degrees Celsius, so below 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's more than cold enough to support snow all day Wednesday. So I don't think we have to worry about any mixture of ice, but they do have to worry about that in eastern Iowa and southern Wisconsin. So don't be surprised if there are icy roads down there, but we should be all snow. Now, I do want to just quickly show everybody what happens as we get into this weekend. And I don't want to blow this out of proportion yet. This is a good, 5-6 days yet out. But this is for Saturday evening. And look at this winding up storm in the lower layers of our atmosphere. And this is what we call a temperature gradient or a thermal ribbon that has developed right over southern Minnesota. This is a classic winter storm signature for Saturday night and Sunday. Again, this is a long ways out, but I just wanted to make everybody aware that there is going to be potential for that as we go into the weekend. So, but let's get through Wednesday first, Bill, and then we'll start focusing on that weekend system. Now, going into Wednesday, Bill, here is the future radar, and it's a composite radar showing snow and ice, and of course rain. Rain's in green, blue is snow, and pink is ice. But here it is. Here's the radar, future radar for right around 5 a.m. on Wednesday morning. And you can see that snow is just starting to develop or move north into the Twin Cities metro at that time. And snow is really going gangbusters over in the I-90 corridor by about 5 a.m. And then look at how that snow just surges north right through the heart of southern and eastern Minnesota, northwestern Wisconsin, with the axis of that heavy snow almost directly through the Twin Cities. So there's no reason not to think that significant snow will fall in the Twin Cities. It will fall in the Twin Cities.
And that's the NAM, right?
Yeah, this is the NAM Nest computer model guidance. And one thing I wanted to say, there's a lot of consensus between all the guidances, meaning all computer model guidance that you look at right now are showing a solid 4, 5, 6 inches of snow over southern and eastern Minnesota, northwestern Wisconsin. Some guidances are showing even more than that. In fact, let's just quickly go to the snow potential from the NAM Nest. And you can see where it's got the snow, the heaviest band. It's placing it just west of the Twin Cities. I think this is a little too far west. I would maybe shove this over about 30 to 50 miles. But still, certainly there's potential for 5, 6, 7 inches of snow in the Twin Cities metro. A little bit less as you go southeast to Rochester and Eau Claire. But there's also potential for 8, 9 inches of snow somewhere in southern and central Minnesota. So where exactly that heaviest snow band sets up, we still need to watch radar over the next 24 to 36 hours. But if I were a betting man, I would say it's going to be from near Sioux City, Iowa, northeast to near Mankato, and then through the western Twin Cities metro on northeast to Duluth. And in fact, here is the
face. Is this going to be fluffy or wet, Tom?
Well, the snow to liquid ratio is going to be somewhere in that 14:1 to 18:1 ratio, which is of a light to moderate consistency to the snow. So yeah, this will be fairly easy to shovel. But Bill, when you're talking over half a foot of snow, nothing's easy at that point. So regardless, it's going to be real similar to the snows that we've been receiving lately. Okay, and by the way, this is the Novak Weather Facebook page, and by the way, those of you that follow me on Facebook, I appreciate it, because we've already reached 13,000 people, Bill, which is cool, with our posting from 5 this afternoon. So that's awesome. Thank you, everybody, for following. But I wanted to show you this graphic that I just posted on Facebook, and this is the Novak Weather's snow prediction now from midnight Wednesday through midnight Thursday. So this is all day Wednesday, about 24 hours worth of time. I'm expecting the axis of heaviest snow from about Duluth through the western Twin Cities metro. This includes the St. Cloud area on south and west to Sioux City and Sioux Falls. So, and I can't see any reason why a good 5, 6, 7 inches of snow won't fall in this corridor, if not more. And I do think, Bill, that snow is going to fall at over 1 inch per hour at times during this snowstorm, with the bulk of it hitting between 6 a.m. on Wednesday morning to about noon or 1 p.m. Monday afternoon.
Tom, you know who has to be among the most happiest people with this snowy month?
Please tell me, who's that?
Daryl Bauer.
He is. Hey, these are the sponsors, Bill. You know what? These are the sponsors that truly, truly believe in Novak Weather. They are the first people that ever came on board. When I asked for sponsors, there were 3 of them. 2 of them were wealth management in Belle Plaine and Austin. So I appreciate the people at Wealth Management Financial Services. That's also under Ameriprise, and then Daryl Bauer. So those 3 believed in me, believe in these graphics. I'm sure there are more now, and hopefully we'll get more sponsors. But yeah, I know he's happy about that, because he's going to get probably about 60 to 70,000 people.
Exactly, I know.
Yeah, so awesome for him.
I think your sponsors should pay you based on the weather. I mean, the more snow that you forecast, they're making out like bandits, right?
I agree. Hey, listen, those 3 sponsors are getting one hell of a deal right now. Trust me, they are. They deserve it.
Let me just check any last questions we didn't really touch. Someone says, how long can the snowy trend continue? Who knows, right?
It's anything like last year, right? Could go for a long
time. Daryl Bauer probably knows the answer to that one. Let's see. I don't know. Someone talked about what are the dynamics of the storm that pushed so much snow down in such a short period of time.
Strong jet streaks. That's
okay.
why, Bill, that's why we always look at the jet stream level, because the more powerful the jet stream, the more opportunities you have for these heavy bursts of snow.
Okay. And then somebody's asking about when the trouble's going to start in Anoka County, and it sounded like about roughly 6 a.m. on Wednesday.
Rush hour in the Twin Cities Wednesday morning, and for that matter, Wednesday evening. Forget it.
Yeah,
it's going to be tough.
All right. Cool. Yeah, well, we covered a lot of good ground here today, Tom.
That's right. All right, Bill. Take care.
Good luck with that. Good luck with that forecast.
All right. Bye-bye.
See you, Tom.